my crafter friends. Today I want to show you a card that I made that was created by Trisha Coward, and I just fell in love with this card. I just want to show you how you can make it with using the Stamparatus. Now this Hey Girlfriend stamp set is discontinued, but for those of you that have it, you can make this card. So you need to have the Give It a Whirl dies. What I have is a piece of 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and I'm just centering my girl on the paper. Then I'm going to stamp in black, and then what I'm going to do is kind of visualize where the window will be. I mark it with a pencil so that I can cut it out. Then this window piece fits inside the mechanism there and makes it easy to cut and place where you want it. So I'm keeping the outside edge of the paper as a guide to hold my paper in place. Then I'm going to make a mask with Post-it note to cover her head and her legs, because as I stamp the wheel, I don't want to stamp on my card front. So I take my wheel and I pencil in each of the sections so I know where I'm going to stamp the dress. Then I just line up the hole with the hole that's on her head, and I turn the spinner around to where the window portion will be right above her legs, and then I can easily stamp. Then I spin it around, and I'll do that for the other two sections. Then I'm using some Designer Series paper. It's in the catalog on page 171, and it is available to hosts only. It's called Pattern Party, and it's 12 by 12 paper, and you get 48 sheets, and it's exclusive to hosts. This is a fantastic way to use up your scraps. Then I'll cut out the dresses. So you completely cut her arms off and her hair. This is called paper piecing. It's one of my favorite techniques, where you get color on your project without using markers or ink. You just use your Designer Series paper, and by stamping on it, you have your outline, you cut it out, and it fits perfectly in the spaces that you've previously stamped. It's so fun. I'm just checking to see how it all works. I'll have to draw in some portions of the legs and some of the hair. Sometimes they're off just a little bit. You see, I'm lining up the holes where the brad will go. And then I'll color. And you see I got a little dot of red on my background there, so I'm going to cover that up with butterflies. You'll see how we did that later. The butterflies I found in the Pampered Pets stamp set. I'm coloring her hair with crumb cake, and I used ivory for her skin. Now our blends come in a bronze and an ivory, and by mixing them together you can get several different skin tones. The brad that I'll be using, I found a very light color so that it didn't stand out as much through the hole. But now I'm ready to assemble the card. I kept the piece that was cut out for the window of her dress, and we'll be using that. I'll show you that as we go. I'm just going to make some background. This is balmy blue. Just going to give a little bit of blue in the sky, and we'll give her some grass to stand on. Again, this card design was from Trisha Coward, and I just fell in love with it. Thank you, Trisha. So using the top hole as a guide, I placed the hole in the designer series paper, and on the little portion I'm going to be using dimensionals on this to give some space between the spinner and the designer paper. I feel it helps be able to spin it a little better if it's not right on flat to the designer paper. So I put dimensionals in between the designer paper and the spinner. Then I'm going to use the dimensionals. I place them on the designer series paper first, carefully around the spinner, not to touch the spinner. But just to give the space for the mechanism to work well, easily. Then using liquid adhesive, I adhere to my card base, and I had stamped a sentiment on one of the, or used one of the cloud dies. Again, I really liked the little butterflies, so I added those and I colored them with blends. This is such a fun card to make. Again, the Hey Girlfriend stamp set is discontinued, and the Give It a Whirl dies are new, so they're in the new annual catalog. There are dice for the arrows or impressions. Which reminds me, I forgot to put my arrow on this card. I'll go ahead and just draw it in with my marker. And it's done. Thank you so much for watching.